Hi there everybody, my name is Ali and today I will be going to do Forest from Hack the Box, which is an Active Directory box, and we will learn a lot of things and all of my methodology when I am solving Active Directory machine. So in this machine, we will be going to first enumerate some usernames using Rpcclient, and then we will be going to do ASRep roasting attack, and I will be going to explain you what is ASRep roasting attack, and then we will get the password and we will log in onto the box. In the privilege escalation, we will learn a lot of things regarding enumeration. We will use bloodhound, and then we will see some GenericALL access, and we will see WriteDacl access. So I'll be going to show you how to exploit these sort of privileges to become domain administrator. So that being said, let's jump in. I already have started my machine and my IP address is 10.10.10.161. So I will start off with the Nmap scan, Nmap-A for aggressive scan, -V for verbosity, and then the IP address of the target, which is 10.10.10.161. This can take some time to run, so I already have ran it. Looking at the results, I can see that we are having a bunch of open ports. The first one is port 88, which directly shows me that this is an domain controller, because domain controller is always having Kerberos port open, and Kerberos is the main authentication protocol in terms of Active Directory. Then I'm having MSRPC. In this port we can try to enumerate some usernames. Then we are having I139 and 445 are SMB, 389 is LDAP. We can search a lot of things from LDAP as well. I can also see that there is a domain name called HTB.local, and rest of the ports are not interesting. One thing which I have not done is a full port scan. Now if I will be going to do a full port scan, most probably in an Active Directory box, I always try to see 5985 port open, which is WinRM. So I hope in this we do have WinRM port open. So if I just simply do -p5985 on 10.10.10.161, most probably these ports are open, and you can see 5985 is open on this box as well. So the best practice is that we should do full port scan, but just to make things much more faster, I do things like this. So let's move on, and what I will going to do is I will start my enumeration from SMB first, then I will see RPC, then I will see enum for Linux, then I will be going to do curl brute and brute force against port 88 to get some usernames, and then I will see which one works well. So let's start with SMB. So first thing first, I always do is Smbmap, which is used to see the shares, and the syntax is this one. So if I hit enter, let's see what it shows up, because if I have some shares, I can try to enumerate potential shares, but nothing shows me right now. Do I need to provide the credentials like this? Because I think so in the latest version we need to provide credentials like this. Authentication error, so not working. I can use another tool called Smbclient, which is Smbclient-L 10.10.10.161. enter. Anonymous login successful, but I cannot see any share right over here. The other thing which I can try to do is Crackmapexec, but Crackmapexec will just show me the banner information. So if let's try. So Crackmapexec SMB, and then I will do 10.10.10.161. Let's see what it shows us back. Now there is another tool which has been released, which is called NAT exec, so net exec, that is very powerful as well, and just works like Crackmapexec and way more powerful. So right over here, this shows me that this is Windows Server 2016 standard, and I think so in my Nmap I just saw over here as well that this is Windows Server 2016. So this one is just a quick enumeration. The other thing which I can do is I can try to say that the username is anonymous and the password is anonymous. So I want to see the shares, so --shares command right over here, and let's see what it shows us. And login failure, so that is fine. Let's move on because I don't have anything from SMB. The other thing which I will do is RPC, and I normally use Rpcclient to enumerate that one, and I will say that the username is null authentication. The password, I don't have the password, so I will say -n, and then the IP address 10.10.10.161. And now I am logged in. The main and the most important thing which I always do is you type in enum and press tab onto my keyboard to see the options, and the one which I am always interested in is enum dom users. So I would say enum dom users, And let's see whether we get something here or no. And we do get some usernames right over here directly. So this is a very quick enumeration, because whenever I'm solving Active Directory box, I always look for usernames, because then I can try to do password spraying. I can try to do, you can say, ASREP roasting attack. I can even try, if I have found the credentials, I can try for Kerberos roasting attack and some other sort of attacks as well. So right over here I do have some usernames which I can see. I will exit out of Rpcclient, and then I will simply make a file called users.txt, and I will paste all of these users. I need to do some filtering right over here, because it's from line number 2 to line number 25 I don't care about. I don't need these. Now we are left with this one, so I will just simply select the first part over here, Control H onto my keyboard, and then replace it with empty. So Control Alt Enter. Control Alt Enter is the shortcut key. Then I need to filter out the rest part, because but the problem is the rest of the part is not similar, so I cannot do Control H. So I need to use cut, and I set the delimiter to closing bracket. So I will say cat users.txt, pipe it out to cut dash d for delimiter, and it is closing square bracket, I believe. Yes, and then I need to grab the field number 1, and now I do have the usernames right over here. So just a quick win for me, just to speed up the process. I do have some usernames. The next thing I always try to do is I always say Crackmapexec in an Active Directory. This is my methodology. I always do Crackmapexec SMB, then I will do 10.10.10.161, and then the username is the users file, and the password file is again the same. So I'm just confirming whether if there is any user which has the same password, that can be a quick win for me as well. Now again, there are a lot of people who are making mistakes right over here. Sometimes it happens with me as well, that you need to add the domain name as well, because Crackmapexec is trying with the domain name as well. But let's see. The other thing which we should always do is, instead of SMB, we should try over here other protocols like RDP and WinRM. Now I know RDP is not open onto this box, so definitely I will try for WinRM as well. So while this scan is going on, I can show you another tool that is called Enum for Linux, and Enum for Linux also does the same thing which we have done manually. So it just automates the thing. So it will show me the shares as well, and it will also do Rpcclient itself. Now Enum for Linux is quite outdated, but still very helpful as well. So let's see whether we get something here or no. After I have found some usernames, I will also do ASREP roasting attack. And just to explain you what ASREP roasting attack is, in short, you can just say that we have some usernames. Okay, so if I just show you right over here, we have these all usernames. We will take these usernames one by one. We will go to Kerberos. We will say to Kerberos that, hey, I am Sebastian, like line number 2. I am Sebastian. Can you give me my TGT back? And then Kerberos gives you the TGT back. Now this is a misconfiguration, because Kerberos should ask you that who are you? Give me your password. Give me something so I can trust you. But since this is a misconfiguration, Kerberos directly gives us our TGT back. And we know that TGT is encrypted with the account's password, so we can get the TGT offline, and then we can crack it using hashcat or John. So that's all ASREP roasting is all about. And there is a script in Impacket which does that for us, so we will see that one as well. But there is nothing in password spray right now. So let's try to see if I do Impacket dash get, yes, get np users is the one which will give us the TGT. So let's see, queries target domain for users which do not require Kerberos pre-authentication. So this is also called do not require Kerberos pre-authentication. So these sort of users does not have Kerberos pre-authentication. So the syntax is we need to provide a domain, but before going on, I need to add a domain into my host file. This is very important step. So 10.10.10.161 htb.local save. Now let's move on. So I will say impacket dash impacket-getnpusers, then htb.local slash. Now I do have a flag over here which shows me my users file. Then I will request for a DGT. Then I will say that I don't have the password as well of these users. Then I will say that the DCIP is this one. So a lot of flags right over here. So users file is users.txt, then dash no dash pass dash request, and dash dc dash ip is 10.10.10.161. And let's see if this works. Otherwise I will try to see some other stuff. And there you go. Right away I can see that svc alfresco does not have Kerberos pre-authentication set, and we have got its TGT. So now, since the concept we know, we can copy this TGT, we can make it into a file. So let's say TGT alfresco, paste, and now I will use John to crack it. So John TGT alfresco, and the word list I will use is rockq.txt. So user share word list rockq.txt, and right now I don't it's in zip format, so let me quickly unzip it. So I will say cd user share word list, and there is rockq.txt. So I will simply do gunzip rockq.txt.gz, and it can take like 1 to 2 seconds, and it will unzip it into a text format. So now it's done. So if I do ls, you can see rockq.txt right over here. So now I can specify rockq.txt and hit enter, and now John will try to crack that TGT, and if we get a hit, we can have a quick win. Meanwhile, let's see our Enum for Linux and what we do have right over here. So Enum for Linux gives us a lot of things, a lot of interesting things. So session check over here, domain SID, and OS information, nothing, users, and you can see I do have almost the same users. Andy is over here, then health, mailbox, I don't know exactly what these are, Mark, Santi, Sebastian, svc alfresco, Tony, and these sort of things. Then I do have the output from Rpcclient over here, and you can see Enum for Linux did that automatically for us. Then we do have some share enumeration. Share were not showing me anything. And then we do have some password policy over here as well. So let's see what is the password policy. Minimum password length is 7. Password complexity flags are 0, which means there is no password complexity. And I will just show you right in privilege escalation part about this thing as well. So password complexity over here is disabled as well. So you can see we have some groups as well, and it is also running throughout. So quite a good information which has been provided by Enum for Linux. So let's move on and let's see where we have reached. Oh, our hash has been cracked, and the hash is service right over here. So again, my best methodology is, which a lot of people does not do. Normally people will say that the service is the password for svc alfresco, but that's a very wrong methodology, because if you want to follow the methodology, what you need to do is you need to password spray this service password on every username. You never know that service can be a password for some other user as well, and this is a very common mistake and a very deep rabbit hole if you are doing OSCP as well. Because in OSCP, if you have found some sort of a credential, make sure you separate over all users you have found out. A very important tip for OSCP. So now what I will be going to do is again Crackmapexec SMB IPs users file and password file, and I always do a flag called continue on success. So this flag will actually continue even if we have the correct credentials. So let's see now what we get over here. If there is any user which is having the password of service, if yes, we have a quick win. I will always try to do WinRM module over here as well. If I can log in directly, if I can log in, I have done half of the machine. I can log in and grab the flag as well. Right over here, it shows me that SVC Alfresco has the password of service which can see shares, but normally there is no yellow pound sign. So I quickly do WinRM because to log in onto the box, I need a yellow pound sign. So let's see now with WinRM if I can get a pound sign or no. And there you go, you can see I do have a yellow pound sign. The yellow pound sign means that I can now log in successfully. So again, I will be going to use Evil-winrm, which is used to log into port 5985. So -I is for IP address, so 10.10.10.161. The user is SVC Alfresco. The password is service, and hit enter, and let's see. And you can see I do have logged in successfully. And now if I type in who am I am SVC Alfresco on the domain. So the first thing whenever I log into any system, I always see how many users are there on the domain. So NET user/domain. The next thing which I always do is NET user myself. So I will say SVC-Alfresco. There are a bunch of users, but the most important ones are administrator Andy, Lucinda, Sebastian, Santi, Mark, Tony. These all I got through Rpcclient. Then I can see right over here I am a member of service account. So service accounts is the one which I can see is SVC Alfresco. So just got a hint from here as well. So let's see what else we can do over here to enumerate the system. The most important one is WinPs. I can also see powerup.ps1 as well. But right over here, just to save a little bit of time, I will be going to show you one of the best one, which I would highly recommend you. If you are doing any Active Directory machine, you should always go for that one. So that one is called Sharphound and Bloodhound. So if I just go over to my browser, I will go to my Sharphound GitHub, and I will show you what actually these two does as well. So right over here, Bloodhound is a very famous tool, and this is used to enumerate for Active Directory and see what sort of misconfigurations are there in Active Directory. But the usage of this tool is very difficult, because what we need to do is we need to run Bloodhound onto our own system. So let's first do that thing. So I will open a new terminal. To run Bloodhound, we need to first of all start off its database. So neo4j console is the database. So I will just type in neo4j console. If you don't have neo4j console over there, so you can simply apt install neo4j and it will install it. And after that, you can simply do neo4j console. After that, you need to set its password, and that's quite easy. So I will not be going to show that one. Once it is started, I will simply going to do Bloodhound in my another terminal and hit enter. And right over here you can see my Bloodhound has been started, and this is where neo4j username and password I need to set up. So I will, normally the default one is neo4j, and then you can change it. So right now I have set neo4j and the password of Bloodhound. So Bloodhound login invalid username. So neo4j Bloodhound login, and there you go. And now I will get logged in. So this is how Bloodhound will look like to you. It's completely empty, nothing over here. But what we need to do is we need to upload that data which we will gather from the machine, and then we will analyze it here in graphical user interface in terms of graphs. So now how to enumerate the data from the system. So to enumerate the data, what I will be going to do is use a collector, and that collector is called sharphound. Now the most important thing, and there are a lot of people who struggle a lot with this one, is that Bloodhound can give you an error if you are not using the same version of the collector. So right now you can see my version of Bloodhound is 431. So I need to get the Bloodhound collector of exactly the same version as well. If the version is different, that will not work. And that's a very painful thing for me actually, to get the exact same version, because there are very less chances that you get the same one. So this one I already have tested one. This one is, I think so, for greater version than 4. I don't know. So let's try to download this one, and let me show you why this will not work. So download it successfully. This is a zip file which will contain a lot of things, so I will simply move it from my root downloads folder, sharphound, into my current working directory, then do ls. Let me make a new folder called sharphound. So cd into sharphound, move sharphound dot zip file into my current working directory. Now if I unzip this, and now you can see I do have a lot of things. So this one is the one which I want to run, so I will upload it over here. So let's move it one step backwards, because I will let you know why I'm moving it one step backwards. Because if it will be in my forest directory, I do have Evil-winrm session, so I can simply do upload sharphound.exe and hit enter, and Evil-winrm does provides us this functionality in which I can simply upload any exe or any tool from my Kali machine to the target machine. So let's wait for it to upload quickly. Now my sharphound.exe has been uploaded successfully. If I do dir right over here, you can see there is sharphound.exe, and there are some my previous files, I believe. I don't know if these are mine. That is very strange, but that's fine. Let's ignore these right now. So there is sharphound.exe. I will simply run sharphound.exe right now. So /sharphound.exe and hit enter. And now right over here you can see this version of sharphound is compatible with 5.00 release. So this will definitely never work for me, and this is that's why I have shown you that make sure you check this one, because if this will not work, you can have a lot of problems. There will be uploading error and so on. So now I need to find sharphound 4.3.1 version. So let me see if I can find it. So sharphound 4.3.1 exe github. Let's see where it is. So if I see this one looks new. No, not right now over here, because this one I need to compile it myself. This is Visual Studio files. So I need to find out where I can get sharphound version. So there is another one which I can see right over here. This one looks interesting, from Spectre Ops. The other thing which I can do is I can also use bloodhound -python, which can run on my Kali Linux, but I will not show you that one. So let's see in this blog post, can I find somewhere about my bloodhound? We have accepted all of the things. Let's see where is this bloodhound or sharphound 4.3.1 version. You can download bloodhound version 4.3.1 and see the entire list of changes. Let's see this one. Yeah, this is version 4.3.1, and if I scroll down in the asset section, I should have bloodhound. Yeah, exactly right over here. So I will say bloodhound windows. Let's see if I do bloodhound Linux x64. That's strange that I am not having any Windows one. This is the Windows one, Win32, but can I find somewhere exe directly? I think so I have. Let me find it out by pausing the video, and then I will get back. Let's see this last one before I pause the video, and then I will find the exact collector. I think so this is one. Let's try this one. If this one doesn't work, I will pause the video and then I will move on. So sharphound.exe is directly over here. I will click on download. download. Let's refresh the page. Yeah, download this raw file. So it downloaded 3 times. So I will simply come over to my terminal again and remove my previous sharphound.exe file and move from my root again, downloads sharphound.exe. I think so. Let's download this one. And now I will simply do on the target dir, and I will delete this sharphound.exe. So I think so rm works in Evil-winrm. Dir again. Yes. So now if I do upload sharphound.exe, enter, and now let's see if this works well or not. And now sharphound has been uploaded successfully. Now if I do dir, there is sharphound.exe. I will now simply do / again sharphound.exe, and let's see what is the version this time. And there you go, you can see this version of sharphound is compatible with 4.3.1 release of bloodhound. So this means this one will definitely work well for me. So this was the one which worked actually for me. Okay, so now I will wait, and now what sharphound is doing is it is collecting every information from this machine, and it will make a zip file then, and it will place the zip file in my current working directory. What I will do is I will download that zip file and I will upload to my bloodhound, and then I will analyze the results. So let's wait once it finishes, and hopefully it will be just finished soon. Right now the previous one is, there are 2 zip files which are already created, but now I will be going to see which one is the one created now. So it's done. Now if I do dir, and based upon the time I can see this one is the one which is just made now. So I will simply say download ending with 127. So just to confirm, if I scroll up, yeah, 811552 are the old ones. So the one which is ending with 127 is the new one. So now it will download this zip file into my Kali Linux. So 100% done. ls now, and now you can see this is my zip file over here. So now simply I will go to my bloodhound. I will click on upload data over here. I will go to my home, hack the box, forest, then this zip file, click on open, and now it will start uploading the data right over here. So let's see. And there you go, this one got uploaded successfully, and now it will take a little bit of time and upload all of the files. Now if you are not using the correct version, what will happen is that you will get stuck here on the first upload. So make sure you see your version correctly. So once it is all done, I will explain you how to use Bloodhound. Now the default version of Bloodhound comes with a very less queries, and hopefully I will make another video in which I'll be going to show you how to use Bloodhound in much more detail. But now once it has been uploaded, what you need to do is you need to come here, scroll down, refresh database stats, then you need to go into the analysis section, and this is where all you are having the queries. So right here you can see custom queries. There are no custom queries. So I will show you in another video that how to use custom queries and how to import custom queries. But right over here, let's see how it works. So first query right over here, it says find all domain admins. So right here I can see that this person is a domain administrator, which is administrator account onto this box. That makes sense. The one thing which I can also say is I can right click this administrator and I can mark this as a high value target. Now the reason why we do this in Bloodhound is that we mark these sort of things high value because we can actually go to this path and we can use some queries in which we can say that, hey, what are the reachable high value targets. So you can see reachable high value target section in this section over here, and hopefully I will I will explain you in much more detail and it will make much more sense. So what I will going to do now is I will actually search here. This is one of the most important thing which you need to always do once you are actually using bloodhound. Make sure you to tell it that what you have already compromised, right? So I have a compromised svc alfresco account, so I will come here, I will click svc alfresco, I will click on this person, I will right click, and I will say that hey, I have already owned this one, and it will show us skull sign over here. This is also very important, otherwise you can miss a lot of things while doing enumeration. So I have compromised SVC Alfresco, and I have set some reachable high value targets as well. So if I just click SVC Alfresco, and in the overview section, I can click on reachable high value targets. If I click on this one, you will see a graph, and this graph will tell me that what are the reachable high value targets, or can I become domain admin from this or no. So right over here, you can see that SVC Alfresco does okay. Now right here someone else has done this box actually, and he owns Tony, and Tony has DCSync on HTB.local. So just ignore this part because I think so someone else is solving this box, so he has created this Tony user account. Okay, so SVC Alfresco is a member of service accounts, and then a member of privileged IT accounts, then a member of account operators. That's great. So indirectly, SVC Alfresco is a member of account operators group. That's fine. So if I click on account operators, the edge has stopped right over here. But what I can say is that either account operators group members can do something. So I can see when I clicked on account operators group member, I can see reachable high value target. So if I click on this one, I get another graph, and I can see that account operators does have GenericALL on enterprise key admins, and then this is the path one here which shows domain controller. Then I am having, let's see, then again this Tony has DC sync over HTB.local. This again is by someone else. So let's see what do we have right over here. I cannot see anything interesting because he has generic on enterprise key admins. So let's enumerate this much more. So account operators, if I click on direct members, privileged IT accounts, unrolled members, I can see SVC Alfresco is service account, then privileged account, then account operator. Now what the thing which I need to find out is that whether from account operator group I can move over to some high value group. And since this, I think so someone else has done some strange things into this box, so a lot of things have been changed because this was not the thing which actually I found out. So either I think so I need to reset the machine and do this, because the actual path was that if I click on account operators, account group operators does have a path to exchange Windows permissions. So if I see the reachable high value target right here, I cannot see any sort of an exchange. Let's see if I can. Right over here, nothing. Let's see this one, nothing. So I think so let me just reset this box, and so that it get reverted to just as fresh. And I will pause the video right over here, and I will upload sharphound, and I will get another zip file, and then I will show you the path again. Okay, so I just reset the box and I came back. I uploaded sharphound, I made this zip file, I have downloaded it onto my system, and if I do ls, this is now the one which is ending with 419. So this is the one. Now I will come back to my bloodhound again, and in my bloodhound I will again simply go to the database info, scroll at the bottom, clear the database, clear this database, and now database has been cleared. Now I can upload the data again. I will go to my home, check the box, And now I will do forest and then the one ending with 419 and upload. Now it will upload again all of the things. And once it gets uploaded, I will simply do refresh database stats again. So uploaded successfully. Now I can simply close this one, refresh database stats. Now let's go to analysis. Let's go to SVCL Fresco. I will say mark user as high value and I will start, mark this user as owned. And now I will be going to do shortest path from here from own. Let's see what is the shortest path. Nothing. Shortest path to here. Oh, we do have some graph as well. Let's enumerate some more. So this is SVCL Fresco and I just give the wrong path over here. So just let's go to SVCL Fresco and say now reachable high value targets. So now if I see, you will see that now Tony will not exist. So now this is the path right over here. Now this is account operators group. And now if I say right click this one, I will say, yeah, let's click this one and let's see reachable high value targets. And now there you go. So you can see this was the actual path which I was not able to find out because some other person was doing something with this. So now this is a very clear path right over here which I can see. So account operator group members have generic all on exchange Windows permission and exchange Windows permission has WriteDacl on HTB.local. So what does this mean? Now these are one of the most difficult one in terms of Active Directory. So first thing what you need to understand is that SVCL Fresco is a member of account operators. So right now I am sitting right over here as SVCL Fresco. Now account operators group members, which means SVCL Fresco has generic all on exchange Windows permissions group. Now what does generic all means? I can right click this, click on the help menu and it says the member of the group account operators have generic all privileges to the group exchange Windows permissions. This is also known as full control and that's the main thing. Now I am going to explain you these things in very easy terms. I am not being technical right over here. If you want to learn about technical things, you can directly go to Google. But since as my concept is that Active Directory is one of the most difficult one, so I will be going to explain you is in as easy as possible. So this says this privilege allows the trustee to manipulate a target object however they wish. Now again, they are using some technical terms over here like object. Now every stuff in Active Directory is called object. So users, group or policies, those sort of things. So full control is the main keyword right over here. So which means that members of account operators group has full control over to exchange Windows permissions group, right? So this means SVCL Fresco can do anything into exchange Windows permissions group. After that, exchange Windows permissions group has WriteDacl on the complete domain, which is htb.local. So what does this means, WriteDacl? So if I right click and see help, it says the members have this one with write access to the targets object DACL, which is discretionary access control list. You can grant yourself any privilege you want. Again, this is making a little bit of sense. So now what I will be thinking, SVCL Fresco has full control on exchange Windows. So I can add SVCL Fresco into this group, right? Because I have full control. Once I have been added into this group, I have WriteDacl on the complete domain, which means that I can do a lot of things. I can write some properties, right? And what I will be going to do is I will be going to add myself in DCSync. I will grant myself DCSync privileges. And DCSync privileges means that if I am having DCSync privileges, I can do a lot of things. And one of the thing is that I can dump the credentials of the complete domain. So this is what I am thinking out now. Now the first thing which I will do is, since this is Hack the Box, I will not play with SVCL Fresco. I will be going to create a new user and I will play all of the things with that person. So let's say I will be going to create a new user called Programmer Boy. So right over here, let's add a new user called Programmer Boy. So I will simply do NET user Programmer Boy. I will set the password of Programmer Boy I'll add this to the domain. So now right over here regarding password policy, you can see my password is not having any special character and those sort of things. So if there would have been a password policy, this command will definitely fail. But since there is no password policy, I should see that this command completed successfully. So let's wait. And there you go. The command has been completed successfully. Now what I will be going to do is since I know that I have complete access over to exchange permissions group, so I will add programmer boy to exchange windows permissions groups, and that command is very simple. So I'll say net group, and the group name is exchange windows permissions, I believe, and then I will say please add programmer boy and enter. Now let's see, the command completed successfully. Now if I do net user programmer boy to see my information, you can see right at the bottom I am a member of exchange windows permissions group. So right now I am right over here. Now the only thing left is this part. So now since I have WriteDacl access on htb.local, which means the complete domain, one thing which I can do is I can also see the abuse functions over here as well, Windows abuse and Linux abuse as well. So these are the Windows abuse, and the commands are a little bit difficult. So let's see how you can say, okay, right over here I can see that WriteDacl to domain object, you may grant yourself DCSync privileges. So you may need to authenticate to the domain controller and those sort of things. So Bloodhound is also giving me the same thing, and Bloodhound is also giving me the commands. But the problem is that the Bloodhound commands will work, and Bloodhound heavily relies on PowerView, which is a PowerShell script. So before doing everything, I will load this PowerView into my system. So PowerView GitHub raw. Now I'll copy the link, come to my terminal back, wget, paste the link of PowerView, and PowerView will get downloaded over here. Then I will come over here, I will type in upload PowerView. Once it gets downloaded successfully, PowerView.ps1, and now PowerView will get uploaded successfully onto the target machine, and then I will load it into the memory. And now PowerView has been uploaded successfully. So now I will simply do dir and load this into the memory. So dot space dot PowerView.ps1, hit enter, and PowerView is loaded in the memory. So now the thing which I will be going to do is I will go to the Windows abuse and copy these commands, and I will normally edit these commands a little bit and run those. So these are the commands which are provided by Bloodhound. Then there is add domain object ACL right over here, this one, and these right here we are giving ourselves DCSync rights, and the other ones I will not take care about because I will explain you some other way. Okay, so first thing first, I need to set the username and password of my user which I want to grant access. So I know that the password I created was programmer boy, so I will set programmer boy over here, and then the domain is htb.local, so htb.local/ programmer boy. Now this makes sense. So this is secure password. In Windows we need to do these all things to actually work with it. So paste the first command, this will store password. Then I will copy the second command which will store the credential object, so enter. And the third command is a little bit not correct, because if I show you this function in the original script, we need to provide some other thing. Okay, so target identity is not testlab.local, it is htb.local, and this sometimes doesn't work as well because we need to give the complete you can say naming context. So the naming context would be dc is equal to htb and dc is equal to local. But let's try this way as well, otherwise I will change it. But we need to provide that what is the person we are granting access, and right now There is no way. So I need to provide one more parameter. And if I just show you the script right over here, so if I open Power View in Sublime Text, paste the function name, and right over here in this function name I can see its instructions. So this is target identity parameter, target domain, a lot of parameters right over here, and this is the one which I am looking for, principal identity. So principal identity is the one which I need to set, and I will say that the principal identity is programmer boy, and the programmer boy is the one which I need to grant privileges. So now I will just edit my command, and right over here I will also add dash principal identity, and I will say that the principal identity is programmer boy, like this. So now this command looks fine. So if I copy this command and run, and this will run from Power View, and let's see what it gives us. And it runs successfully. So if we have, which means if programmer boy has been granted DCSync, this means that programmer boy can easily dump all of the credentials. And to dump all of the credentials, I always use one of the most famous script that is again from Impacket, that is called secretsdump. And the syntax is fairly easy. We just need to provide the username, so programmer boy at 10.10.10.161, hit enter, and it will ask me for the password. So password is programmer boy as well. And now let's see if this works or no. If it works, if I have done everything correct, I should be able to dump all of the credentials from this machine. And it didn't work well, and again the distinguished name specified for this replication operation is invalid, and most probably the distinguished name is right over here, right? So let's edit this command. I will not do this one now. I will do dc is equal to HTB comma dc is equal to local. Save this now, and I think so let's add this in double quotes. I don't know, but let's see. Copy this now, paste over here, hit enter now, and let's see what happens now. Done. Now I will do the same command, impacket-secretsdump programmer boy, password of programmer boy as well, and let's see. So, and there you go. You can see now programmer boy have been granted DCSync rights, and now I am able to dump the credentials from all of the system. And right over here I can see the administrator as well. So now I can just copy the administrator hash. So copy this complete hash, and I can now use impacket-psexec to log in. So I will say impacket-psexec administrator, and I don't need to crack the hash in Active Directory as well most of the times, because I can simply use the hash to log in as well. So I can say administrator at 10.10.10.161, and I can specify the hashes parameter, paste the hashes, hit enter, and now I should get logged in successfully. So let's see. And you can see found writable share right over here, and most probably I will now get a shell. There you go. So if I type in who am I am anti-authority system, because impacket-psexec always gives us an anti-authority system access. So that was all about this video, a lot of Active Directory stuff, and I hope you will like it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.